our meeting item 8.4, which is the pool rental discussion. I'm assuming that this is also for you, Mr. McDaniel?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Vice President. So the
Madam
board.
Vice President,
Yes.
I added this item, so I would like to actually introduce it.
Well, we haven't made a motion to actually have the discussion. He's
No, we
presenting the
are.
information.
We are having, you are in the discussion item. I made the motion to put this on the item. I would like to explain the discussion item. This is not for Mr. McDaniels to preemptively explain what he wants to explain.
You go right ahead, Trustee Weaver.
Thank you. So just again, to make sure we're all on the same page, this is, I referenced earlier, an email that was reached out to me by a member of the Utica Shelby Swim Club team. As I stated when we added this to the agenda, this was to they presented one side of the conversation, so I want to provide a little context for the community as well, so you understand what that one side is, and the reason for this discussion is to hear from Mr. McDaniels on what our other side is, because again, we do not want to take one side's story for truth. So ultimately, I was told that the Utica Shelby Swim Club has been a partner with our district for 15 years. I was told they are our largest rental resource from a revenue standpoint, into the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And Mr. McDaniels can correct me if I'm getting any details wrong when I'm finished. It came to the end of their contract. There was some discussion around increasing their rate in which they pay us, to which they entered into, I would call it a negotiation with the district. They ultimately came forward and saying that the rates we were looking to charge were a little higher than what they were expecting, and the timing wasn't in one that they could impact their swimmers and go back to their families and increase their rates. So they actually offered to invest $250,000 into all three of our facilities to bring our facilities up to par with other districts swimming. And for that, again, they obviously negotiated. Really, it sounds like where there's hang up is around whether it's a 10-year or 20-year agreement. Their position is basically the equipment they're installing and the $250,000 investment they're willing to make, the life of the equipment is 15 to 20 years, so they're looking to carry the life. They want the contract to cover the life of the equipment they're putting into our facilities that our students will benefit from. And they really emphasize wanting to continue the 15-year partnership that they've already had with us. So I do want to hear our side of it. To me, their proposal seems reasonable. That seems reasonable that they'd want the contract to extend the life of their equipment that they're investing, that we will take advantage of. And ultimately, I do have some concerns of if we are seen as not really embracing a 15-year partnership, because I would like to see more of these types of partnerships with other organizations. And so I do have some concerns, but I would love to hear our side, why we're so adamant on 10 years versus the 20 years that they're looking for.
Before you begin, Mr. McDaniel, I just want to preface what you have to say, that every board member was updated this afternoon through Superintendent Russo, which is the proper chain of protocol in terms of negotiating contracts for our district. And our district did come to terms with this particular swim club, and those items were shared ahead of time prior to this meeting with every board member sitting at this table. So I will allow Mr. McDaniel to dive into the specifics of it. But I also want to point out that we all have our lanes here as a board member, and we talk a lot about the norms of when a community member reaches out to one of us for a concern. We love certainly to hear from individuals when they contact the board, especially individual board members. However, there is a protocol in place. And I have to say I'm quite disappointed that our colleague did not refer this individual to Mr. Russo, who could have easily continued to connect him with Mr. McDaniel, who was in the process of negotiating at that time. So Mr. McDaniel, you can take it away from there.
Madam Vice President,
Mr. McDaniel, I have called on Mr. McDaniel, and he will continue to further the position of where the district is on this particular agreement. Thank you, Mr. McDaniel.
Madam Vice President, I'm going to correct your information that you've misled the community on. In the text messages with Mr. Russo, it was made clear, and it has been made clear by the organization, that the agreement is not finished. They have not signed anything. They still have concerns, and they're presented as they were given a take it or leave it. This was escalated through the proper channels to Mr. Russo. The information was shared. ultimately, this is a capital gains investment in our facilities, which ultimately does fall under the purview of the board. To think that potentially we could lose $250,000 of an investment because we want to spurn a 15-year relationship, again, this discussion item is added simply to understand why our position is 10 years versus 20 years. If there's a good, because again, the proposal put forth seems very reasonable. If there's a good argument for why it's 10 years, then let's just hear it. But all this extra noise is nonsense, but no.
Well, if you would excuse the interruption, Trustee Weaver.
I communicated directly with Mr. Russo. I followed the proper chain of command and forwarded the information along, just looking to hear the other side of what our position as a district related to, again, a 15-year partnership that could be one to be the example that we build off of and build relationships and value relationships in our community versus one we just treat as a revenue source that we're just trying to grab as much money as possible.
And I believe that Mr. McDaniel is going to provide you with that information. Go ahead, Mr. McDaniel.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The board approved policy 7002, which authorizes the superintendent to permit individuals, groups, and organizations to use school district facilities when the use does not conflict with the use of facilities for school district purposes. Superintendent will develop administrative regulations as necessary to implement this policy. So as a designee of the superintendent, we have negotiated with this group, Utica Shelby Swim Club, and have come to basically a tentative agreement, and we're drawing up the paperwork. Thank you.
So why is our position 10 years versus 20?
Excuse me, you have not been ordered, or you have not been recognized, Trustee Weaver. Does any other board member have a comment? Trustee Gupta.
Yeah, so I have great concerns about a trustee not following the chain of command here. Clearly, this entity felt that this particular trustee would go ahead and take the bait and used him to interfere and compromise with the negotiation process, which quite frankly, as a precedent to set, is quite concerning, as that could really open our district up to risk in the future if we have a sitting trustee for whom it isn't in his lane or his expertise, has no historical knowledge about this particular relationship, yet he thinks he knows everything about it. So clearly,
Madam President,
this
would
is
you
the
like to,
person
Madam Vice
who
President,
is causing
point of
the
order.
extra noise
Would you like to apply the
and
rules fairly?
interfering with the process with no appropriate
Madam Vice President,
information.
point of order. Would you like to
Trustee
apply
Gupta,
the rules
keep it
fairly?
germane to the subject. Does anyone else have any comments? Trustee Lukui.
I was still wondering, what is the business plan? Why are we so committed to the 10-year contract instead of the 20-year contract? Asking to hear what the business case is for our side is not interference. The board is ultimately responsible for our district's finances, and we need to understand what kinds of investments we're making. So, Mr. McDaniel, can you please just tell us why you were making that particular case?
Why I was making what case?
If you know the case that we're trying to make, the 10 years versus the 20 years, why did you not want to allow this company to be able to have this contract extend for the life of the equipment that they are renovating for us?
Yeah, so I don't want to negotiate in public because we have a tentative agreement, but cost, essentially. Right, it's expensive to operate pools. Terms of the agreement locked in a rate, and when you look at the cost of operating the pools versus the discount given to the group, that's why we landed on that 10 years.
Mr. Russo, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just want to say that I think in this arena, I appreciate the questions. I also appreciate the fact that we have a tentative agreement with an outside agency that the board policy allows us to negotiate on behalf of the district. I think that's critically important here. And when you say cost, we're not going to give numbers because we're in a tentative agreement, but I can give you the general statement that what they wanted to do was limit our ability to charge them what we would like to charge them. Let me say that one more time for everybody. What they wanted to do was limit our ability, the district, in what we could charge them. That was not okay with me.
Madam Vice President.
Yes, Trustee Weaver.
So, Mr. Russo, again, in the negotiations, and actually the member is, the group is more than comfortable with the numbers being made to the public. The negotiations around what could be charged didn't seem to be the hang-up as they agreed to the step system. They were open to that. They really wanted to get to the 20 years. So why would our position not be then to negotiate with them what the number would be? Because to Mr. McDaniel's point, we have the cost of operating our pools, whether we have this relationship or not. Again, I'm very concerned, even hearing the tone at this table, that this isn't about evaluating a 15-year partnership and growing a relationship, and it's basically our way or the highway, which again, this place made it clear. They could go build a pool because they have finances, which to that point, yeah, but that would impact their team, so they're trying to make the right decision. I'm just really concerned, and again, hearing it from the tone and how this has been approached, that this is us saying, take it or leave it, and from a and here are the examples of, oh, we have to operate the cost of our pools, but the fact that our pools don't meet the standards of other districts, and this place is willing to give us a $250,000 investment, that's something I would kind of think we'd want to show a little bit of gratitude towards.
Trustee Alspa.
I'll ask this question to the administration. So, I'm concerned about one of us individually advocating for a particular outside group, and the repeated mention of the investment. What I saw said that this investment, and full disclosure, I'm a swimmer, my kids were swimmers, I know the club life very well. Is this investment going to actually benefit the general student, or is it just going to benefit their club and their club functioning within our facilities?
Yes, I think we agree, and the group agrees as well, that this is a mutually beneficial agreement. With the investments, it would be for all the pools. Again, I'm trying to tiptoe around the actual terms of the agreement, but yes, it was important that it touched all of our 3 high school pools.
Yes. Yes, Trustee Blake.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo some of my colleagues. I mean, this is an outside group, a swim club that wants to rent our pool, and they want some upgrades, and a lot of those upgrades are because they're a competitive group, and they need certain things to be certain ways for their competition. And they want to dictate for, I think it was 15 to 20 years, how much for a price that looked low compared to the other schools. And who up here is an expert on pool rental rates, or on how long these upgrades will last in the pool, or what 15 years from now a reasonable rate would be for the pool? It's crazy to me that somebody, a third party who's in active negotiation with our administration, contacts one of us on the side to try to get us to force the administration to give them the contract terms they want. On any subject, that's crazy. And on pools, what do any of us know about pools? And you're interfering with the district doing its business of making this negotiation.
Madam Vice President.
I do have a comment from the public.
Madam Vice President.
Could Erica
Madam Vice
Thomas?
President, I have a comment that we speak before the community. I absolutely respect the community speak on this. I look forward to hearing from them.
You have spoken numerous times,
I have a brief statement
Trustee
then.
Weaver.
Robert's rule, I have a brief statement. To Appointee Blake's point, we have competitive swim teams. So every investment is that would benefit their competitive swim team, benefits our competitive swim team. I did not actually advocate on their behalf. I asked simply for us to hear our case and our other side of the argument, just to understand the situation. You obviously see how our administration reacted. That does raise the concern to me of how we value relationships. That is the only point. It is absolutely within the purview of the board that we operate in a way that we value partnerships and how these partnerships interact and decisions that our administration makes and how it impacts those relationships. Again, I would have loved to hear just a simple business case of this is why we agreed to that, but you could see the defensiveness right off the bat, and that, again, is truly the concern that I have. That is well within the purview of the board.
I have one comment before I will take the public comment, and that is when you insinuate that our administration is not negotiating a good faith, sitting here at the table, you didn't have to say it. Your tone said it all.
Point of order, you shouldn't be
Mrs.
casting
Erica
aspersions on members
Thomas,
of-
you are welcome
Madam
to
Vice
speak.
President, Madam Vice President, I've never done that. Okay, so this.
Go
group-
ahead, Mrs. Thomas.
No, Madam Vice President, I have another comment to make. I'm hearing that this group is willing to invest $250,000 to upgrade all the swimming pools in our high schools. It doesn't just affect them, but it affects all of our students as well. It's not costing us anything. This is something that provides us a huge benefit, and we already have the infrastructure in place. I think it's very reasonable for the board to be asking, if we hear from this outside group that's telling us, we're willing to do this for you, for some reason the administration is putting up a roadblock, can you please look into this for me? I am thankful to Trustee Weaver for bringing this to Mr. Russo's attention, to the board's attention prior to this meeting, so that we could discuss this and talk about it. Because we've seen some of the members on this board make really poor choices in investments that have been draining money from our students.
Point of order.
This is an
Point of
investment
order.
that benefits
You
our
don't like it. You
students.
don't like it when personal lobs are thrown at you, Trustee Lakouis, so please refrain from doing that against other board members at this table. At
That's
this time,
not what the rule is.
I
The rule
will
is to
take
not
Erica
cast
Thomas's
aspersions on
comments.
motives.
You have 3 minutes.
Madam Vice President, point of order. The rule is, don't cast aspersions on members' motives. It has nothing to do with saying that you disagree with things that members have done in the past. I'm only talking about actions. I am not, and have not, talked about your motives, because I have never tried to pretend that I know what kinds of motives are going on with anyone.
So, Erica Thomas, I welcome you to make comment. My apologies for the behavior at this table.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Erica Thomas. I am the head coach at USSC, Utica Shelby Swim Club. Our name is very deceiving. We are not a Utica and Shelby-based organization. As Matt said, we have been in the community for a number of years, 15 years full-time in the district. We are the district's #1 renter, 46 weeks a year. I'm also a big supporter of Rochester schools. I've been the head coach at Stoney Creek High School for 15 plus years. Swimming is what we do and absolutely love. A number of our athletes at Adams and Rochester and Stoney grew up in our program and are now representing their high school teams. That said, everyone received paperwork. I'm not going to go into the details of our contract that we are working through the details now. But yes, we are looking to upgrade and get the district more suitable equipment. Unfortunately, the Daktronics timing system that was put in with the last bond, we are already having significant problems with, and the company has gone out of business. So that is why, as an organization, we see a problem in the district, and we want to help solve the problem. This is us not lowballing the district. I did provide a significant number of comps for the area. You'll see that Rochester Schools continues to be on the higher end of all the comparables locally. We want to help, we want to partner, and that's where we are. Thank you.
Thank you.